Hello everybody, welcome to Toffee TV. It's Friday.
It is Friday.
Just channeling my
inner Carragher.
Well, no, I was just sefting.
Oh,
Just general sefting.
what did you make of the Alexander-Arnold news this morning?
What, that Liverpool getting 10 million quid for him? Has anything been less surprising in your life that Liverpool got 10 million quid for a month?
Yeah.
Is there anything less surprising?
At least he's announced there now, though, because there's still.
Is he less of a rat now that they've got money for him?
It's a good question, isn't it?
I feel like it is. I feel like it's a great question.
We got nothing with Barkley.
No.
That ain't me, though.
I feel like it is. Yeah. Good afternoon. It is Friday. It is the end of the week, as we know it. There you go, David. Just seeing your comment there, and I'm just gonna say to you, get the fuck out my comments. There you go, you absolute prick. So we've started well. We've started well.
That was a record of a minute.
Yeah, we started well.
And we got the community still thing today.
Yes, keep it going, boys and girls. There's no issue with that. There's no issue with the community thing. Keep it going.
Carl Barden's top right now.
Carl Barden,
Nice.
Straight in there.
Still don't know how it works, but he's there.
Straight in there, my friend. Yeah, well, I mean, the reason we've put this title in is because we were just thinking, Delap's going to Chelsea. That's all been confirmed now.
Yep.
So, that's fine. We know that. That's safe, right? Never thought he was coming to Everton anyway, or didn't ever think Everton had much of a chance to get him. So, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, obviously, we don't know anything about yet, right? And there's no update on it, by the way. We're not adding to any drama or anything. We're just having a conversation. We just want to hear your side of it. Everton, now wait, Jessica Gay, as we said yesterday, 2-year deal. Looks like it's happening, right? Michael Keane and Dominic Calvert-Lewin, we're yet to hear anything about, right? But the situation with Dominic Calvert-Lewin is, now, let's look at this, right? Put your biases to the side, right? Whether you like him or you don't like him. Put your biases to the side, right? And think about just this in a logical manner, right? Keeping Dominic Calvert-Lewin, is it like something that we should be... Obviously, we're in negotiations, but as fans, is this something that we should be like going, you know what? Actually, this makes sense because look at the amount of players we've lost. Look at the numbers. Look at Chermiti maybe not coming on as fast as we'd wanted them to. Maybe he's not where we need him to be, right? Beto. You can have Beto. He's your number one.
Yeah.
Right now, he's your number one. Right now, he's our number one striker, right? Fair play. But we're looking for someone else to compete with him. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, somebody who, if he's prepared to sign and we're prepared to sign him, is someone who's in the mix. Doesn't make him number one. Doesn't mean he's on 130 grand a week. Doesn't mean he's on a 5-year deal. We're just talking sensible stuff here.
Yeah.
James, over to you. You were like, where were you coming towards the end of the season on it? Just refresh.
So, my beliefs is that Calvert-Lewin didn't want to be here.
Okay.
So I wanted to invest in the strikers that we have. So I wanted to play Chermiti and Beto.
Yeah, that's fine.
They were two players you wanted to be here. And you prepare for next season because we were already safe from it.
Yeah.
There's no need to put time into players who just aren't going to be in and aren't part of the plans. And I think sort of, I don't know, you're saying, you know, it makes sense for him to stay, but how much money is... I know it doesn't matter as completely how much he's going to be earning in a week, but is it a worthwhile investment keeping him when you have got Beto, who is going to be the number one? And is it not a good opportunity now to try and get someone in where you have got that opportunity to sort of bed them in properly because you won't have as much competition because it's just Beto? I just feel like going into this season with the same two strikers, we're going to have the same problems again. People are going to continue to moan about it. I know, obviously, it could be different because you change like your wide players, your 10 or whatever. But I'd be disappointed if we went into the season and our strikers were still only Beto and Calvert-Lewin. And I think it's a good opportunity to sort of refresh the squad a bit and get a player in. But that being said, we've got to sign so many players this window that say if he would sign for, I don't know, whatever he's on now for an extra year, or 2 years, probably 2 years suits us better.
Yeah.
Then I'd be more open to it, because
Yeah.
then you can invest more into like your wing positions, your midfield, and say your fullbacks or whatever.
Just going back to Chermiti, do you think if Dom signs and we bring another one in, which I think we all agree we should be, that's a good opportunity for Chermiti to go on loan, considering that the manager just he looked at him and didn't really fancy him towards the end of the season, given that we were already safe.
I think, I mean, me and Baz went through it on one of the lives. He's played, in total, 3 full games of football.
Yeah.
In his whole career.
Yeah.
Well, not his Everton career. And at Sporting Lisbon, he came in because their striker got injured. And I think at Lisbon, his first 4 games he scored, and then he went 10 games without the goal. And obviously he showed promise, and he's still only 21, so still a lot to go. But I thought it was disappointing towards the end of the season that he didn't really get them minutes that you would have assumed he would have if Moyes believed in him. Not saying he doesn't believe in him, but if he had more confidence in him. So I think for both Everton and Chermiti, for him to progress, and then Everton to also properly assess him, because he's never played a full season properly of men's football.
Yeah.
His whole, if you go through his stats, all of his things, Sporting Lisbon's B team, then he had a little stint towards the end of the season, 15 games I think it was, and then all the minutes he came off the bench at Everton. So I think for him and his progress, he should go out on loan and sort of build himself up and then come back to Everton, and you can properly see him then and see what type of striker he is and how he would fit into Everton's plans. But do you feel like if Calvert-Lewin does stay, it gets in the way of another striker coming in and sort of getting them opportunities? That's what...
A new striker or Chermiti?
So if they say we keep Calvert-Lewin and Beto, Chermiti goes out on loan.
Yeah.
So we've only got them 2 strikers. Yeah. So then, say if we sign, I don't know, people are saying what's his name, Baltimade or whatever.
Yeah.
Say if he comes in, is his sort of position in the squad already not hindered because there's them 2 ahead of him? Because Calvert-Lewin, ultimately, he's not going to sign for 60 grand a week. He's going to be on a minimum 100.
So what if Dominic Calvert-Lewin's right? What if Dominic Calvert-Lewin signs 3 years?
Yeah.
Right. We have him for a year, and then we've got 2 years left on his deal, and we can sell him.
Yeah.
And then we are in control of the situation. See, this is the other side of it, right? We are at the moment in a situation where he is going to walk out the door for free, right? And a lot of people are happy with that. But to me, I look at the situation as Everton right now have one centre forward in Beto, right? Yep. Chermiti, I think will need a loan now. By the very nature of the manager not playing him, right? So I look at it and think we need 2 strikers then. So you want to get another one in who is better than Beto, and that's what we were trying to do with Liam Delap. Yep. Okay, that hasn't worked out, and that's fine. Good player, going to go to a team in the Champions League. Doesn't matter what any of us think of how his career will end up. He will be all right, whatever happens, right? So, for me, that means we've got to get one in, and then you look at it, and think, right, what do we do? And for me, I just think the most simplest thing is to sign Dominic Calvert-Lewin to 2 years or 3 years.
Yep.
Then you've got him for a year, and then next summer, you're in control. Yep. You can sell him if you want to. You can sell him to anyone you want. You can make some money on him.
I know, but someone just said in the comments then, I think it was Emma, that if no one's sort of throwing everything they can at him right now, what's to say that in a year's time someone will be willing to pay 10, 20 million for him?
No one's going to be paying 10
right now.
No one's going to be paying 10, 20 million pound for him. Of course they're not. No one's going to pay 10. But
what's the point?
But we'll get nothing for him right now.
So,
and we're going to have we are going to have to buy otherwise 2 strikers, right? Yeah. And that is very, very difficult in the market. So what I'm trying to say to people, right, is we don't have an unlimited amount of money. Mm-hmm. We have got to be, and of course PSR, you've got to be sensible. This is like what I said. This is like the argument I had with you last time. It's like you've got to take your feelings out of it. And there's far too many people in the comments right now who are thinking with their feelings and not thinking logically. Everton need another striker.
Yeah.
They need a right winger desperately.
Yeah.
We need a centre midfielder desperately, I think, as well. Well, we're losing Decore, aren't we? Mm-hmm. And then we've got to fill in other roles, like the right back position.
Yeah.
Then you've got to look around your team. You need 2 goalkeepers.
Mm-hmm.
They have to come in. So logically, we have to use our heads and think, what's the simplest solution? And to me, that's giving Dominic Calvert-Lewin another contract, not on huge wages, not a 5-year deal, but something where you go, there's continuity there.
Do you think he'd be willing to not be on huge wages right now?
Well, if he isn't, he leaves the club.
Yeah.
By the way, right? If he leaves the club, he leaves the club.
Yeah.
I'm not heartbroken by it. What I'm saying is, it's about using your head and not going, it's fucking rubbish, he's always fucking injured, fucking try to get him out of the club. Yeah. What I'm saying is, it's one less thing to worry about.
Yeah.
If he stays at the football club, that's what I'm saying. Think about it and go, if he leaves the club, we suddenly need 2 centre forwards, and centre forwards are the most expensive place on the pitch if you want a half decent one, and that's the logic I am using, without not bringing emotion into it, not get worried about his wife, not worried about what he's ever done on a magazine cover. I'm talking about just being using the logic about it and going, it's like going, well, now that Ashley Young's left, we need to bring in another backup, right back or left back, don't we? That's something that the manager probably didn't want.
But do you not feel like, talking about the manager, towards the end of the season when Calvert-Lewin was fit again, he didn't really get any opportunities?
He wasn't fit though.
But he was.
No, he wasn't fit. He wasn't fit.
Beto was playing 80 minutes.
He wasn't fit. Come on. He wasn't fit, was he? He wasn't fit. The manager gave him a few opportunities at the end of the season. You don't get fit by playing 5 minutes and 10 minutes there. And Jai showed that. Yeah. He hasn't been fit, right? That's part of the problem, right? That's part of the problem, that he's not fit. That's part of the overall arc of Dominic Calvert-Lewin, isn't it? Is the fitness, and I totally take that into consideration of his fitness. Yeah. Right? His fitness is a key element to this situation. That is something that you've got to look at and go, how many games has he been available for? I totally take that into consideration. If you look at his numbers and go, well, he's played X amount of games, it doesn't matter. People don't care that it's only one injury. He had one injury last season and it was a bad one, right? But at his age, bad injuries start to stack up, and I totally get that. That is a reason to say, see you later. That is definitely a reason to say, see you later. Got no problem with that. I fully understand that. At his age...
Does you not think combining that with the fact that, how much, realistically, I know it doesn't really affect us, but how much is he getting a week if he stays at Everton right now? Because he's reportedly on 100,000 right now.
He's not... I don't believe...
He's not dropping his wages, is he?
Well, he is dropping his wages if there isn't any more offers. That's what you've got to remember as well, right? If the offers have dried up, if those offers have dried up, which they seem like they have, then the ball is in. This is what the ball seems to be in Everton's court, doesn't it? That's what. Did you honestly believe we'd be sitting here nearly a week after the season finished and Dominic Calvert-Lewin hadn't said his goodbyes by now?
Yeah, I thought he would have been gone by now. Yeah, but is that not more worrying?
Because Everton are negotiating.
No, I know, but the fact that no one wants him. You know, the same reason why Delap looks like, you said you weren't really impressed when you watched them, but it was the fact that everyone was in for him because obviously they see something. So if no one's coming in for him, surely they see something for the reason why they shouldn't get him for their team. So then it goes back to Everton, and then are we making a mistake by signing him? And it's that thing of how much money is he going to be on? And if we all value Beto above him, and we want to sign someone who's going to take over Beto, we can't be paying however much for potentially a third choice striker. He's 29. This is the question, Matt. This is not, forget about, it's not even about would you or wouldn't you. What would you be prepared to spend wage wise? So again, let's just say it's something like
let's just say someone's hiding us over. Let's just say it's a deal where you're looking at it as like a 3, but you're looking and going, well, it's 1, and then we're in control of next season. So what would you be looking at paying Dominic Calvert-Lewin if you were just thinking, this is one to get us over this year?
Just over this year?
No, but let's say it's a 3-year deal.
3-year deal.
Yeah, but the way you're looking at it is, this is just one to get us through this year, and next summer we start like looking around.
So you don't really want to have like a huge burden of wages. Hopefully, you'd say like 80, 90 max.
Yeah.
It's around what you'd say.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, you see it a lot, don't you, with like strikers and attackers that it's sort of the Pep Guardiola way and the Brighton way that you see it now, is that you give them a year to bed in, and then the year after is where you sort of really get the results from them. So I imagine whoever we sign, because it's not going to be someone directly from the Premier League, and it would be, I don't know, like the fella from Germany or someone from France or whatever, that they probably won't hit the ground right away, but next season is where you'll start to get the real benefits from it. But that's the season ultimately where you want to get rid of Calvert-Lewin as well.
But that's my point. Yeah. That's my point is that it's that continuity, isn't it? It's that continuity, having a player who's a backup. That Chermiti, I would love Chermiti to be ready, but this season has stopped them. This is being an injury. Just destroying the flag there, James. This season has been, sadly, like, I mean, is Chermiti's injuries, are they a worry?
Yeah.
I mean, he's at the other end of the scale, isn't he? He's a growing lad who looks like he's bulked up loads.
He looks huge.
So the manager. I mean, we had this conversation, didn't we? You said, and a lot of other people said they would love to have seen Chermiti play the last few games of the season, but he didn't even get like. The fact that the manager was bringing on Dominic Calvert-Lewin and wasn't bringing on Chermiti, I thought that spoke a lot.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's clearly something there, and maybe he's clearly too good for the under-21s. Otherwise, he'd be playing with them. But
he could never play for the under-21s.
Because even when he plays for them, he always scores, and you've seen him pre-season. He's got something about him, but it's just when he comes on, he doesn't really get that chance. And then after that West Ham game, when he brought in Ambrosian on,
and he
linked
good.
Up really well together.
He looked good, didn't he?
I thought from there he'd properly start to kick on, and then that's when you say goodbye to Calvert-Lewin, and then you've got it sort of the backup, and then you look at them as the 2, and then you sign another one. But he hasn't really kicked on, and Brozier hasn't really impressed either. So he's not someone you're going to look to make permanent. So it's interesting, and I think just how young he is and how little. I was just looking then.
Yeah, that's the problem, isn't it?
295 minutes he played for Everton.
Yeah,
and it's like 5 minutes, maybe a 10 minute, and then like 1 minute, and in total for Sporting 970 minutes, 10 games of actual playing time.
No, that's the problem, isn't it? Is that Chermiti just simply hasn't played enough football, and that's a big risk for someone like David Moyes. David Moyes he's obviously a very pragmatic manager, and he obviously doesn't. He looks for experience. He wants experience around his team. I think that's why he wants to keep Dominic Calvert-Lewin. I mean, listen. If people don't want Dominic Calvert-Lewin, they don't want him. But the manager seems like he wants him. The manager seems like he wants to keep him. Otherwise, they would not be negotiating with him. They would have just let him go. So you're not arguing with me. You're arguing with David Moyes. The manager just seems that the manager wants that experience, and that's where it's really interesting. Is that Decore and Ashley Young were both offered deals. They both turned down the deals because I think for both of them they wanted maybe 2 years. Decore certainly wanted 2 years. I think he was offered 1. Not exactly. Can't say for absolutely sure what Ashley Young terms were, but it might have been the same. It might have been 1 + 1, which was his original deal at Everton, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was 1 + 1.
But Decore had the +1 this year, didn't he? He didn't choose to do it.
By the way, right, I'm seeing this phrase repeated loads in the comments about a fresh start, right? I'm certainly advocating for a new striker.
Yeah.
I am advocating for a new striker. Whether it be the kid from Germany or whoever else. Yeah. I am advocating for a new striker to be our new number 9, essentially. Right? So that's what I'm looking at. But what I'm talking about is just having that experience, continuity within the club of someone that you now control their destiny rather than them walking away from the football club. And I think that's where it makes sense. The same way I would like to have seen Decore stay, I said that.
Yeah.
I'd like to have seen Ashley Young stay, I said that as well. Because this is a massive rebuilding project. It is. And listen, don't get me wrong, Everton could go and get a good striker, have Beto, and then go and get another striker on loan. But the problem is with the one on loan is you are bringing in a player that someone simply doesn't want, and there aren't that many about anymore. The top clubs, we ain't going to end up in a Lukaku situation where we get this player that's absolutely brilliant. We're going to get a Brozier situation, and that's what you don't want. You want three strikers that can all do a job, even if it might be a different job. That's just the way I'm looking at it now. I'll be honest, April, I thought Dom's gone. We're all moving on with life. It's all sorted. I just think it's very interesting that
do you think Calvert-Lewin has changed your heart, or do you think clubs just don't want him now?
I mean, I don't know, because again, I go back to any footballer at Everton Football Club and think to myself, why would anyone want to play for that manager? I said this a lot last year on my player ratings when it comes to centre forwards, and I said it about Dom and I said it about Beto. Every single game I felt sorry for them because they were 15, 20 yards away from the next midfielder, and all they had to go on with was long balls. And whether that be Beto, whether that be Dom, it was exactly the same. Nobody wanted, nobody liked that style. And I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin maybe decided that he just didn't want to play under him and didn't want to sign a new contract under him. I don't know if that's fact. I don't know if that's fact. So we'll wait and see. He didn't want to be here under Dyche. I don't know whether he wants to be here under, whether he had a change of heart or whether he does want to be here under Moyes. I don't know. Him and the club are the only people who know that, aren't they? For sure, and his agent. So we'll see what happens. But by the way, right, this is still a new era. But you can't have everything all at once. The priorities are a centre forward, which we need anyway, whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin stays. A right winger, which is something we've needed for 3 years. A centre midfielder who can play as like an 8 and a 6. A new right back, really. We really do need a new right back, don't we? Because there's no point having Jake O'Brien as a stopgap there. And Patterson is, I'm just not convinced. Back up left back. Someone to push Michalenko.
Someone who's a bit more attacking for a different like option.
So
I'd be disappointed if we went to the season and it was just them two again.
I would be massively disappointed.
And I just feel like.
But don't you take heart from the fact that we were trying to get Liam Delap and we've been negotiating with Dom.
But do you think Dom stays if we get Delap?
Yeah, well, we're negotiating with him right now.
I know, but I don't know. I just feel like it's. But I feel like if he stays, do you not think Beto goes then? No. Do you not think we need 3 strikers at the club? Well, we haven't really had 3 strikers for a while, have we?
Dom, Beto, Brozier.
But Brozier was, I suppose. But Brozier was injured for most of the season.
But the club weren't going, it's all right, lads. We were still paying his wages. You need 3 strikers at your football club, surely.
I suppose. I don't know. It's a weird one, isn't it? I just feel like if he stays, then you don't. I know Delap sort of goes against that, but I just feel like you don't really go out and get another big name. Because there'd be 3 strikers who were all on big money then, wouldn't it? I think we get confused by this. I don't think £100,000 is big money in football anymore. It must be.
It's not. The top players are earning £300,000 a week.
I know, but for don't know what's Everton's highest paid, 130, and it was the
Yeah, but that's because where we are.
Yeah.
But I'm saying, I'm not. By the way, I'm not. Certainly don't justify. Sorry, hang on. You keep talking. You keep talking.
Hello. I don't know what's going on here. I'll go on to Premier. Hello, Premier members. I don't know where Pedro on. Gary Ward says Hardy. Oh, Posh Matty said there'll be a knock at the door in 30 minutes. I feel like that's what this is. Swift says, strange the difference a year makes. Selling Branthwaite for 60 to 70 million last year seemed dangerous. Seeing the links to Chelsea today, and I'd be sad to see him go, but I'm confident we could reinvest and kick on without him. I don't think Chelsea are buying, because apparently they want 2 centre-halves and they've got about 4 already. We're all young. And it just doesn't make a lot of sense, I don't think. Harrison Darby says, I still don't think he's good enough anymore as a backup. That chance against Newcastle in the week before Fulham ruined it for me. Oh, wow. Wow. Posh Matty.
Posh Matty, you are an absolute legend.
Do you want me to move them?
No, they're going over there. Posh Matty sent us 2 pizzas from Rudy's.
Wow.
From Rudy's, for God's sake. Oh my God. Mwah. Gotta love Posh Matty.
Wow, what a guy.
Gotta love Posh Matty.
After the heartbreak yesterday that only Premier members saw.
Oh. Posh Matty, what a legend. What a legend.
I was just reading through Premier comments.
Good man, good man.
Do you want me to carry on or?
Go ahead, read some more. McAtee's been left out of the City squad for the World Club Championships.
Wow. Has he been linked to Everton?
We should go
properly,
for him.
Or has he been linked to like, anyone else?
We should go for him. Posh Matty is a legend. He should be top of every chart. Every single chart.
Wow.
We should go for him. Definitely McAtee.
Yeah.
He'd be good for that.
He feels like he's going to be one, where you look at like a Delap or like a Palmer, like a Lavia and stuff like that, where in a few years you can see him City being like, or him at least going for like 50 odd million.
Yeah.
Someone said in the comments, the chance against Newcastle and the one against Fulham ruined it for Calvert-Lewin. That he's still the same.
The one against Fulham though was a half chance and he was offside.
The Newcastle one.
The Newcastle one was poor, yeah. I'll give you that.
I feel that's the sort of thing that he always lets him down. Is that under Dyche it was sort of like showcase more because we had so few chances that when he was missing them.
Oh, listen, I agree with all those things. Yeah. But going back to the money thing, I think we don't understand. We're not understand. We're not. What players are earning right now is, as I said, like the top players are earning like £300,000 a week.
Yeah.
Right. 75,000 apparently is the average now of what Premier League players are earning, and that sounds ridiculous to us. But it's also they're also playing in like the biggest league in the world, aren't they? Like literally.
I know, but that's like the peak players, though, isn't it?
But what I mean is, if they're on £300,000 a week, then if the average plays on 75,000.
I know, but it's the average not skewed because of how high they are getting paid.
No, I don't think it is.
Like the average, like I don't know, get rid of Man City and Chelsea.
Oh, you'll have loads of kids, of course, who will be on a lot less.
But like I'm saying, like the average for those who aren't in like the big 6, what would the average?
Okay,
be?
well, like let's just talk about Jared Branthwaite, right, for a second. Right?
Oh yeah, someone was saying about
so
that.
Jared Branthwaite, who was linked with obviously Chelsea yesterday, right? So if he moved to Chelsea this summer, what do you think he'd be on?
You'd say like one over 100. You say 150.
I'd reckon about 200.
Do you think? How much is that for Farn and then on? Do you reckon?
I think if they signed him right now,
Because that's sort of a similar transfer, isn't it?
and they put him on a really long, silly contract, I think he'd be on nearly 200, right? 180, let's say. Let's just say 180, if it makes everyone feel more comfortable. So if Everton were going to give him a new contract this summer, they say basically you're staying here, you're staying here. We want, so we're going to give you a new contract. So what then do Everton offer Jared Branthwaite to stay at Everton, knowing that Chelsea are willing to pay him that amount of money? Because that's the problem, isn't it? That's the problem. That's what raises players' wages at clubs like Everton, is that knock on the door.
Apparently, though, Chelsea have only got 3 players who are on 200 or higher.
Yeah, but but what I mean is though, if he goes there,
one is for Fana though.
If he goes there from Everton, from another Premier League club, he's going to be on let's just say 150 to 200,000, right? So then he has to then become Everton then have to almost match that, don't they?
Yeah.
And then he becomes 150. And he deserves, but does he deserve that? Well, he's one of our best players. That knock-on effect then happens at every football club, doesn't it? Of like, when these clubs, when Manchester United are offering silly money to bang average players, then they become £200,000, £250,000 players, and we look at them and go, what? But that's the thing that entices them to go and sign for their club. Yeah. Haaland's on $500,000 a week. So that knock-on effect then starts drifting down, doesn't it? It starts drifting down, and that starts pulling up the average players at the bottom then. And that's what I mean about, like, when we talk about like what a player's on.
But then but right now, Aston Villa's main issue is the fact that they've done that, where they've tried to compete with their wages.
Their wages is 98%.
No, I know, but if you're offering just anyone $100,000,
but that's the problem, isn't it? That's the reality we live in. So just looking at your shit. That's the reality we live in. Is that to compete? If you want to compete and buy the best players, you've got to beat the other teams. And if the other teams can offer those people those wages, that's what you've got to offer. And that's the scary thing about the Premier League now, is that there's loads of money in it. But it's how you use that money. And Aston Villa are banking on bringing players in and improving where they get to. But then they know they're going to have to probably sell one of those players every summer to try or offload them to Saudi Arabia to try and fill that gap like they did with Girard. And they're probably going to have to do that this summer, maybe with Martinez or Watkins. And that's the problem. And because they missed out on the Champions League, maybe they've got to sell 2 now because their wages are ridiculously high. But it's if you want to get to the promised land, it's so difficult. So difficult. We talked about it loads of times with Forest, didn't we? Like, Forest could have secured not secured their football club, but put their football club on another platform for 10 years if they got in the Champions League because of the wealth that would have brought. And that's the hardest thing about football now, is Chelsea somehow can spend £1 billion. We said yesterday, they can somehow spend £1 billion on players, and yet no one talks about them for PSR. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
I know, but on the Calvert-Lewin thing, I just went on a website. Normally does, and it says he's on 100,000. Yeah. Do you think he's going to take that reduction in wage? He's our fourth, well, it'd be third highest earner now. Do you think he'd take that? The question is, right? The question is, number one, how much do Everton value him? Right? So that's the first question. How much do Everton value him? Do they value him less than they value them when they give him that contract? Or the same or more, right? Number 2 is, what are his other offers? Yeah. What are his other offers out there? Now, are other people offering him what we are offering him? Are they offering him less, or are they offering him more? And that's it. That's all it comes down to. All Everton can do, right, is offer a player a contract. Yeah. So you've got Decore, right? Everton offered Decore a contract. Yeah. He didn't like it, and Everton just went, sound. That's it. Everton offered a Gay a contract. Oh, I'm not saying this is reality. Everton offered Garner a contract, and Garner might have come back and said, I want to stay, but I want to talk about this contract. Let's shape a deal, as John would say. And Everton and Garner are negotiating now because they want him to stay. He wants to stay. But it's got to be the right deal, obviously. So they're working towards negotiating that deal. Because Everton are going to start here, and Gay, or the player, is going to start there. But they both want the same thing. And what they're going to do is they're going to work till they get to here, aren't they? Yeah. Because that's literally how a negotiation works.
Now, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, if Dominic Calvert-Lewin wants to stay and Everton want him to stay, it'll be dead interesting to see how far Dom has to go over to Everton, or do Everton meet Dom in the middle? And that's going to be the interesting thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And none of us know that. Literally, none of us know. None of us know how much power he has or how much power Everton. If Everton didn't want him, he would have been announced. He would have been left the football club.
Yeah.
So Everton want him enough that he's still negotiating, and those negotiations might come to nothing.
But then, is that Everton want him enough that he's still negotiating? Does that mean no clubs want him enough that he's still negotiating?
Possibly, yeah, possibly.
Which is a worry as well, isn't it?
It's not really a worry, is it? Because
it is.
Is it? Why is it a worry?
Because Calvert-Lewin's out of I mean, back to the Delap thing that I said before.
Yeah.
You never seen the quality in him, but everyone saw it, so everyone wanted them.
Yeah.
If Calvert-Lewin's there on a free, he's got Premier League experience.
But
every club's looking at him and like,
okay,
I don't really want him.
Okay, go back to where we started from, right? If no one wants Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and we do,
yeah, it helps us.
It really, really helps Everton Football Club. It really helps Everton Football Club in negotiation. It doesn't matter, right, whether everyone watching this doesn't want Dominic Calvert-Lewin, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you don't want him. It doesn't matter if I didn't want him, right? Someone at Everton Football Club, the manager, wants Dominic Calvert-Lewin to stay at the football club. Yeah. And that's all that matters. If no one else wants him, that really helps Everton. Really, really helps Everton.
Yeah, but then it also doesn't help Everton.
No,
no, because there's a reason why no one wants him.
Doesn't like your. It doesn't. Your ego feels bruised because you're like, nobody wants him, therefore he is crap. But it doesn't.
I'm not saying he's crap, but I'm just saying it's concerning.
Why is it concerning? No, but
why does no one want him?
Hang on.
Oh, I'm not saying no. No one might not want him.
I get what you're saying, right? But we can be. We're the best. We can be the best judges of him, right? And that's why. That's fine because we've watched him for literally his entire career.
Yeah.
So if nobody wants him in terms of in the comments, that's fine. You've made your mind up over the entire course of him being in Everton Football Club. No issue with that, right?
Yep.
Absolutely no issue. But that doesn't. No one else wanting them doesn't. That helps Everton in terms of.
Yeah.
If we want to keep him, we should see that.
Yeah. I know, but it'd be nice, wouldn't it, that like other people want him.
Why would it be nice though?
To the fact of like, say, I don't know, Idrissa Gana Gueye was 29.
Okay.
Everyone's going for him, isn't he? And he's like, no, I want to stay at Everton. That's like a bit of,
But then don't you think
but then
that...
he's 29.
But don't you
no
think...
one wants him.
Okay,
he's like, I want to stay at Everton. It's like, oh.
All right, see, and this is why I say take emotions out of it, right?
I know, but it's an emotional game as well.
No, but you can't have emotions when it comes to money. You just can't have emotion when it comes to money, right? So Idrissa Gana Gueye... So say Idrissa Gana Gueye right now, right?
Yeah.
Was wanted by 3 European clubs who were all willing to offer him £150,000 a week, right? Yeah. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
Or a Saudi club, 3 Saudi clubs were willing to offer him £350,000 a week, right? And he walks into the office and he says to David Moyes, I really want to stay at this football club.
Yeah.
But those 3 clubs want me at £150,000 a week. Do you feel better that those 3 clubs want him?
No. But if it's like...
So he's just...
The Milan teams, Juventus and, I don't know, Roma and, I don't know, Chelsea and Arsenal want him.
Yeah.
And he goes, no, I want to stay at Everton. I feel much better than if no one...
So he's just walked into an office and said, I want to stay here, but those 3 clubs want me. But those 3 clubs want me for £150,000 a week. Yeah. You're going to have to give me £150,000 a week.
Well, it depends how much he wants to stay.
And Everton said, well, no.
If he wants to stay, you can get a bit off it.
And then Everton go, can't afford to keep you on. I can't afford to give up 35-year-old £150,000 a week. And we've just lost our best player.
But if you can't afford it, you can't afford it. Then you go to...
So would it not be better that those 3 clubs don't want the Idrissa Gana Gueye then? So we get
yeah, it'd be better for Everton fans.
So there you go.
But as a player, looking at him from the outside, it doesn't look good on him, does it?
Yeah, but who cares?
That you're free and no one wants you.
But who cares?
No, I know, but it's not a good look for him, is it?
If we want him, that helps us.
But it's not really it's not a selling thing for him, is it?
But who cares?
Yeah.
But like, again, take emotion out of it. Who cares if anyone wants him? If we want... But who cares?
Care a bit.
No, but why do you have to... Why? Why do you think that's just an ego thing? Surely,
It's a bit of an ego thing.
of course, it's an ego thing.
But
Who cares if anyone if Everton Football Club want any footballer to stay and no one else wants them, and that helps our negotiating so we get them at the cheapest price?
yeah, but then do you not think there's an issue there as well?
No.
That no one wants him.
Why does it matter?
A striker with Premier League experience, no one wants him.
Why does it matter?
When you see all the teams,
You've watched them. You've watched them.
Yeah.
You've watched them.
I'm not sold.
You've
on it
already
either.
made no,
Yeah.
but that's the point. You've already made your mind up because you've watched them, right?
Yeah.
So that's the best thing you can have. You don't need someone else telling you whether you think someone's good enough. You know because you've watched them, and that's your opinion. So you don't need someone else coming in. So if someone did come in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin right now, if AC Milan came in for him, see what I did there just to make you feel better. If AC Milan came in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin right now and said, we want him and we're going to give him £100,000 a week, would you think he was a better player than what you've seen over the last...
No, but I think people think of him as a better player.
No, but do you think he's a better player?
Well, he is a better player if more clubs want him.
That's not true.
That
You've
is
watched
true.
them.
I've watched them, I know.
You know.
But
You know.
same, you've watched Delap, you don't think he's good, but all these clubs are after him.
No, I didn't say I didn't think he was good.
He didn't look as good as what?
I just said I'm not asked if we don't sign him.
And you said you didn't think he looked amazing.
I've only seen him
But
twice.
then you also said all these clubs must be after him, so they clearly see something.
I've only watched them twice.
But then that's
but
the
that's
same argument, but
no,
in
it's
the
not
reverse. isn't it?
because I'm willing to say I don't know enough about Delap. You've watched Dominic Calvert-Lewin enough to make. I'm basically backing your side by saying you don't need to worry about other clubs coming in for Dominic Calvert-Lewin. So you don't believe he's good enough. So therefore, that's fine.
And other clubs don't believe he's good enough.
Exactly, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But our manager does.
If he did, he'd sign a contract already.
No,
Or he might have done.
Our manager thinks he's good enough. So that's all we can go by, isn't he? Doesn't mean he's going to sign a contract, by the way.
Yeah.
But Everton, the manager obviously wants him to stay. But we don't need other clubs. You don't need other clubs to come in and go and say they want him. At the end of the day, other clubs I don't think will rear their heads till he is free, and they can go, this is what we're willing to offer you, because he's not in good form and he has had injury problems. Therefore, the valuation of him has dropped significantly.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a huge value because he didn't finish the season strong. That helps us. It helps if he leaves Everton, then that helps them.
Yeah.
What is happening right now is clubs will be looking at Dominic Calvert-Lewin and going, well, if he signs for Everton, he signs for Everton. We're not that desperate. He's not top of anyone's list right now, and that's obviously because his fucking injury record and his goal scoring record have been appalling.
Yeah.
And that's just facts. We don't need anyone to back that up. And that's facts. And he will not be Everton's number one striker. And I think this is something people's...
That is the worry, though.
That is the worry that people...
Yeah.
He's not Everton's number one striker.
Yeah.
He is not Everton's number one striker. Beto is now Everton's number one striker. And the manager has said on numerous times that he's not overly, massively...
To be fair, he done an interview the other day and he looked like he was all for Beto, which he's improved.
No, I know, but he also said he was 27, 28, and that's like one of those things, isn't it? But I just think he's not going to be the number one striker. He's not going to be the number one striker for Everton if he signs.
Yeah.
So it's not something to be concerned about. Going for Liam Delap was a clear indication that what David Moyes wants. Mm-hmm. He wants a young, hungry centre forward playing for the football club. Not a 27-year-old, 28-year-old, 29-year-old, 30-year-old. He wants a young, hungry centre forward. And Delap was perfect for what he wanted.
Yeah.
And we took a chance. We didn't get him. And that's just the way it is. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see what happens. Did you do a poll?
I did.
What's the results?
So the question was, with the Delap news, should Everton consider keeping DCL for next season? 45% said yes, 55% said no.
Very interesting.
Close, yeah.
Very, very interesting. We'll see what happens. But they are still talking.
When do you think we'll find out? If you have to guess. I think tomorrow.
No,
and before
might
June.
be tonight. Might be tonight.
Yeah.
Might be like 5 o'clock tonight. We might find out.
Mm.
We might find
Because
out.
we're meant to find out what Alcaraz tomorrow, innit? That's what all like the stuff that came out about him said. That it'd be the 31st. You'd hear if he's signing or not, basically. Which is interesting.
Yeah, we'll wait and see. It's listen. Some people want a complete fresh start. Some people want some people to, Everton to keep some people. We'll wait and see. At the end of the day, it's how the football club believe they're going to fill the gaps this summer. And I think David Moyes wanted to keep all of the players who were Everton players and let the loans go back.
Keep Ashley Young.
And then keep Carlos Alcaraz. I think that's what they wanted to do, and then go from there. But he's already lost 2, and he's lost the goal. The goalkeepers, I don't think he's really that bothered about, because I think João Virginia, they could have kept out João Virginia.
They had an option. Yeah.
They had an option, so
He said he wanted to stay as well.
yeah. So they've obviously decided that they didn't want him. So the goalkeepers...
Why do you think they would do that, though? Do you think maybe they thought there's someone at Everton who they think could make the step up, or do you think he's getting to an age where he's not really going to be a number 1 for Everton, so there's no point? Like, do you want someone who could eventually take over?
It's that difficult. Yeah, I mean, João Virginia, I think you have to have Everton had to make an opinion on him, didn't he? Of
can he be the future?
Will he be the future? And they've obviously decided he's not going to be the future.
Yeah.
Manchester United got beat 1-0 by Hong Kong.
Wonder if it was free on YouTube or not.
Jesus. What a terrible end of the pre-season or post-season tour. Sorry.
And yes, they saying Bruno Fernandes is going as well.
200 million. The talk is, isn't it? To
but suppose all that money.
Yeah. So
it's not a bad United team out as either.
That's mad, isn't it?
Defensively a bit iffy, but Fernandes, Garnacho, Højlund, Johnny Evans, Casemiro are all playing.
Johnny Evans is leaving, isn't he? He's still contracted, isn't he? Suppose, yeah.
Even though he's
still
37.
contracted. Yeah. Mad. No, the goalkeeper situation, I think, they've probably just decided João Virginia his future should be somewhere else, and obviously with Begovic as well, they probably thought he could bring in a different number 3.
Yeah, well, that's changed a bit, hasn't it? It was like Lonergan for a bit, and
it doesn't really matter. They're like half coach, half keeper, aren't they? So
rare they'll ever get used.
So, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with all that. But I think he would have wanted less. Well, he did say that, didn't he? He said that basically he wanted to keep all the players, and he wanted to bring in new players for like 3 or 4 positions.
Yeah,
and I think that's what would be ideal. But obviously, he didn't want them hard enough to keep them hard enough that he was willing to, that they were willing.
Oh yeah, it's only half time.
That was only half time. Sorry, I thought it was full time. I think I've seen the thing. He was only willing to pay them a certain amount. So yeah. But we'll see what happens. Are we definitely on YouTube?
Yeah, why?
No, didn't seem to be a lot of people watching.
There's 1,000.
Is there?
Yeah.
Why is my thing telling me there's only 85 watching?
Well, there's 1,000 for me.
Okay, well, fair enough. I'd rather be you than my one then. We'll see what happens. But it is very interesting that it is Friday and we still don't know about... What about Michael Keane then? Should Michael Keane...
Michael Keane, though, I think will drop money. And he's been a 4th choice this season.
Yeah.
I don't think he'll have an expectation of more than that, but I think Calvert-Lewin would have an expectation of more than that, which is the sort of difference between the two. Because ultimately, Michael Keane, he's all right, isn't he? Like them 2 games, he was solid. I know when he came on against like Spurs and when he came on against City and stuff, he was a bit iffy. But when he starts, he's all right.
You think Michael Keane would have See, you definitely think he'd be the one who'd have more options, wouldn't you?
I know, but I feel like the options he would have would be lower league teams and probably top end championship, wouldn't it?
I think a couple of Premier League teams.
No, I know, but it'd be like the promoters or like a few lower down. It wouldn't be for the first choice. No one too good. I don't think.
Yeah, but you'd still be playing in the Premier League every week.
But maybe he's just happy being the fourth choice at Everton.
Yeah.
He's happy living in Liverpool.
Yeah. Not that he lives in Liverpool.
Oh, Manchester.
Yeah. They all live in South.
Oh yeah, he came through Manchester's academy.
They all live in South Manchester, don't they? Patterson's got 2 years left on his deal.
I feel like Patterson will go, won't he? I feel like they'll sell
I think they'll keep him.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think they'll keep him.
I feel like they'll sell him. It's not really worked, has it?
I think they'll work on him in the summer. I don't think he'll be a starting right back, but I think they'll work on him and see what. He's got 2 years left on a deal. I think they'll work on him and see what happens. Could, just because he's young. He's young and he's been, I feel, neglected.
He has been neglected, but then you do watch him and there's some when he makes a bit of a dodgy decision.
Don't you think half of it though?
I agree completely that if sort of what happened with Michalenko, where there wasn't really any competition at all for him and he got just solid and he would have evolved into a better player, he'd be much better than now. But I just feel like you see him and you can understand a bit. And if he's getting Ashley Young and Coleman, it'd be
don't get me wrong, mate.
I centre half out position.
You on the match preview for the Newcastle game when we talked about him, it was like we both said you got to leave him out this game. You can't let him get add off in this game, and then that's like the last thing he remembers for the season. Everton, Moyes needs to work on him. He needs to work on him and see if there's a play. But what I mean, you could still work on him during the summer.
Yeah.
See how he is, and if he doesn't improve, you could still sell him by the end of the window, couldn't you? Doesn't mean you don't sell him. But we'll wait and see. Right. Another interesting little debate with me and James. I do like these debates. They are fun. They're fun. Yeah. They're fun. We have it's nice to see the comments. What's the vote on?
56 no, 44 yes.
That's
it was a lot closer than I thought.
Closer than I thought.
Like the comments and stuff.
Yeah.
Philip, I just want us to sign players. I know the window's even open, but I just want.
We all want us to sign players, don't we? And we will sign players. I think. I don't. No one should be. People should listen to what David Moyes has said about this squad. He does not believe this squad is good enough.
Yeah.
He has said repeatedly about where Everton should be, being embarrassed to be down the bottom.
Yeah. I think as well, though, I don't think you can trust them on transfers after January.
Who?
Moyes. He said, we'll be getting a few in, and then we got Alcaraz, a sort of a last-minute one. And he said we'll be getting a few in. Consistently as well.
We'll be getting complete. We didn't buy in January because
Posh Matty said James is always fearful that Ped is going to hit him. That's why I sent the pizza to cheer him up. Ped actually done this. Broke my hand because I didn't do a title right.
Just discipline. It's just discipline. We didn't buy players in January because we didn't want to mess about with our PSR, basically. So,
yeah. But no, I know. But it was said a lot that Everton would be getting a few, and everyone thought. We even said that we thought we'd be getting at least like 4.
I never said we'd get 4.
I think Baz was pretty consistent.
I never said we'd get 4. End of the day. But sorry, I'm all right. It's just in me nose now. It's just in me nose, and that's it. Once the weekend's gone, it'll all have cleared up. It's just I feel fine. It's just in me nose. And that's the last bit of it. We'll buy players. We have to buy players. This squad has to improve, and these owners have to prove that they are in as well. That they are in.
Yeah.
And the only way to do that is by buying players and showing everybody, that they mean business. You don't buy a football club that's moving to a new stadium and then go, we're not going to do nothing. We will buy players.
Yeah.
I am pretty sure of that.
Do you feel like they'll do anything where we buy people from Roma?
No.
Like the Aston Villa deal?
No, I doubt it. I think they'll be a little bit wary of doing something like that as well.
Get in trouble. Yeah.
Got to be careful. Got to be careful, haven't we?
That, you know, I was thinking about this before. You know, the way we're linked with Habib Diarra a lot, and he's at Strasbourg, or whatever, how you pronounce it, and they're signing Omega. Is it a worry that he's not going to Chelsea? Like, if he was a really good player, he'd be going to Chelsea? Or is that overthinking it?
Say that again.
So, you know the way we're linked with that Habib Diarra a lot? The Senegalese midfielder from Strasbourg. Is it a worry that he's not going to Chelsea?
Why is it a worry?
Because they're signing like a mega, and they've used like their links to get like players from like Brazilian clubs that their own his own and stuff like that. That if he was really good, or they thought he's going to be really good, he'd go to Chelsea.
You seem to get really worried about what other people are doing or what other people are thinking.
I was thinking that.
I wouldn't give a monkeys.
I think it's something to think about.
Why is it something to think about?
Because Chelsea is slimy, aren't they? How they run the club and how they buy people and that.
Who cares? Who cares?
I think they're slimy. Steve, you think, James, you think way too much.
You do think way too much, honest to God. It's not... Maybe it's because I'm a little bit older, but stop. I wouldn't worry about half the things you worry about. Honestly. It's something, these things don't matter. These things, honestly, just don't matter.
Just want to get what I'm saying.
Maybe they do get what you're saying, but I just wouldn't worry about what other people are doing. I
know, but say if we had like a sister club that was a low league French team and they had someone who was dead good, we'd buy them surely, wouldn't we?
What if they don't need them, right? And selling them helps their FFP?
What do you mean? Like selling the... Wait, so...
No. What if they just don't need them and think, right, we can make money on that person, and we just don't need them. And if we buy another player, it's going to attract more people to come and knock on our doors.
But they're doing it with a mega. So, yeah. They've got a bit of a history. If they're buying a mega, they know he's good enough. They just mightn't think he's good enough.
They just might not think he's... But do you know what? Everton have signed players, or clubs in general have signed players. Like, football isn't black and white, is it? Conor Gallagher, we would have all had Conor Gallagher, wouldn't we?
100%, yeah.
They chased Conor Gallagher out the club.
Yeah.
They didn't think he was good enough for the way they want to play.
No, but that was for the money as well from it, wasn't it?
No,
they needed the money for financial fair play and all that.
There's loads of players that Everton might be looking at right now that are like 27, and Chelsea might go, we don't buy 27-year-old players. Do you know what I mean? There's every club. What I mean by that is every club has a different circumstance, don't they, of why they buy players. We're buying players to get us. We'd look at a player and go, wow, he's bossing, because we've been watching Jack Harrison play on the right all season, right? Yeah. Chelsea might see a player and go, he does not make our team better. We've already got two really good players there. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's horses for courses at the end of the day. You can't have every single player. You might want every single player, but you can't have every single player. So I wouldn't worry about what other people are doing.
I just think the slimy, and if they thought he was going to be like amazing, Chelsea would buy him.
But what if he's not amazing? And what if he's not amazing, but he's good enough for us?
Well, yeah, I'm happy with that, but I want amazing.
But we're not signing amazing. Again, sorry to just burst your balloon, but we aren't signing amazing.
I think we'll sign some amazing.
If we sign players, we'll sign players who are 2 years
before amazing
in the making, right?
Yeah.
Or we'll buy players who are sound. But we aren't buying amazing.
Yeah.
Because football clubs like Everton right now can't afford amazing. And that's the truth. That is literally just the truth. Sadly, that's where we are right now. If you want to buy amazing, you have to be top of the tree. You have to be top 4. You have to be already in the Champions League. If you want the finished article, you know, Liverpool are about to have just made a £105 million offer for you know, Waits. Do you know what I mean? Even if Everton had that money, if we went to try and buy him right now, if we had the 105 million, we tried to buy him now, he ain't signing for Everton, is he? He's signing for them, no matter what.
Do you think this is off topic again, but do you think Liverpool have done that purely for the Trent stuff? They go, oh, everyone's sad he's gone, but we've just bid to the 105 million.
They've done it because they're the champions and they see a massive opportunity.
No, I know, but this makes them like brings the fan base back up that we spent.
No, because I don't think they care.
105 million.
I don't think they care about the fan base. They don't think they care about them that way.
Oh.
What they see now is an opportunity. They're top of the league, right? They've won the league, and they want to win the league again, right? And they've just seen an opportunity to bring a really good player in and beat Manchester City to them, right? Which means that not only does it improve Liverpool's team, it means their nearest rivals can't strengthen, and they've gone in first. And where in the past maybe they hadn't done that the last time they won the league, now they are doing it, and they're going to stay. We're in a power of strength, and we are going to try and buy players, because the best time to buy players is when you have to buy players is when you are at the top of the tree. Staying at the top of the tree is the hardest thing, and that's what they're doing. But if we had 106 million and went for him, he wouldn't sign for us.
No, I know.
And that's just reality.
Yeah. No, I know, but I'm just meaning with the news being so close to Alexander-Arnold being announced that they've done it. Oh, put this.
No, because Liverpool aren't really coming out of the Alexander deal with anyone having a go at them.
No, I'm not saying they're having a go at them, but it's just to lift the fan base.
Well, no, because they bought. I guarantee the other lad they're buying, Frimpong, will be better than Trent.
I know.
It's not even about Trent Alexander-Arnold's ability. It's about the fact that
they're just the devil.
They believe that he's done them wrong. But this lad will come in and be better, because that's what always happens to fucking them. Always. They miss out on a first choice, and this fucking second choice is always better.
Salah was the second choice. They wanted Brandt first, and he couldn't get him.
Anyway, it's his life. Right. I'm going to stretch.
I thought you were going to go.
No, I was. Right. Toffee TV Premier, people. Little bonus for you.
Yeah.
Stick around, and in about 15 minutes or so, we'll be back live.
Yeah.
Over there. Right. We're going to have our pizzas, courtesy of Posh Matty.
Thank you so much.
Great, thank you. First person to give me, to actually recognise the shirt and how good it is. Thank you. It's a tremendous NASA footy top. Don't see many of them about, do you? It's tremendous. Didn't even know, did you?
No.
There you go. Pay attention. Right, so if you're a Toffee TV Premium member, or if you're not a Toffee TV Premium member, this is the right time to become a Toffee TV Premium member, right? It's the price of a coffee, less than a coffee or a beer, and that's just factual. That's not even like, that's absolutely factual. So we're going to be over there in like 15 minutes or so. So go and get yourself a drink and join us on Toffee TV. That gives you enough time to sign up.
It does.
Gives you enough time to sign up. And if you sign up, by the way, that's not like, oh, I've signed up. There used to be where if you signed up for May, because we're in May, on the 1st of June, you have to sign up again. And that's stupid, isn't it? It's not like that anymore. If you sign up today, then you're signing up for a month, and then another month and a month and a month. So if you've done it before and been stung, then it's not like that anymore.
Yeah.
So come and join us on Toffee. We're going to be live. We're testing out some new software over there, and we're going to be live in about 15-20 minutes once we've had our pizzas. So thanks for everyone. Thanks for the debate. Don't fall out over it. Don't get angry over it. It's just football. It's fine. What's the poll? Let's finish with the poll.
45 yes, 55 no.
Come and join us. If you're not a Premier member, come and join us. Come and join us. Come on. It's dead easy. Come on. See you later.